Hello everybody, how's it going? My name is Brian Locke and welcome to the stream. Gonna look at something different today. Hey Dev. We're going to look at a 555 chip, which I don't know if I've ever used before. Maybe I did in college, but I'm pretty certain I've never used it for a project. I've got a little small project that I think a 555 would be a pretty good fit for. We got my daughter a tent in IKEA last week, and I want to put up inside the tent Christmas lights, basically. Like, you can get, battery powered Christmas lights, and so I have some of them in there at the moment, and she likes them a lot, but she leaves them on all the time. So what I was thinking of is maybe using the 555. Hey, Captain Max, good morning. What I was thinking of was using the 555, that if you pressed a button, it would turn on the LEDs and then automatically turn them off after a certain amount of time. So I know that is possible with a 555, but I don't know if it's possible to do the amount of time that I'd want it, like, as in, like, say the minimum it could be is 5 minutes. Like, I was thinking even more, like 10 or 15 minutes would be a better sort of solution. So yeah, why don't we play around with this and find out? We might actually need a couple of these, because if one of them is running off for 5 minutes, we might want to investigate some other things. The other thing that is a bit of a concern to me is I think 555s are, like, they only work down to 4.5 volts or something, which is pretty high. Like, if the Christmas lights are running off, the Christmas lights are running off 3 AA's NE555P. NE555P. 3 AA's, so, like, that's only 4.5 volts right there, right? So yeah, so that might be a problem. So here's my 555. I don't see P. It's an NE555P that I have anyways. Yeah, so I was kind of thinking that, and hey, good morning to you, Leo. I was kind of thinking that there was lower voltage 555s, but that, like, even if I got it working, hey, Drew is hosting me. Thanks, Drew. Good morning, Michael. How's it going? If I got it working with this 555, which you can't see anymore, then I could, like, adapt it to be like, work with the lower voltage one. I could also, power the lights maybe by like a battery bank or something, that is 5 volts, or I could boost the battery voltage maybe. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Like, it is powered by 3 AA's at the moment. I could make it be powered by 4. There's some solutions we could do. So I think just getting it working would be good, and then we can kind of investigate it. So my daughter has these lights in a tent that we got her at the weekend, Michael, and I want her to be able to press, I don't know why I'm showing up anything, press a button and it'll turn on the lights for a certain amount of time, maybe like 5 minutes, and then turn off the lights automatically, because she keeps leaving them on at the moment. So yeah, So auto shutdown. No, it's not auto shutdown. It's delayed shut. If I could spell delayed shutdown 555. That's not shutdown. It's delayed. How to build a delay before turn off circuit. Yeah. Okay, so we got a 555. They've got a 47k resistor, 100 microfarad capacitor, a 470 resistor, an LED. That's probably just a current limiting resistor. I think it is just a fairly classic flip-flop. I've never really used one. Sorry, I can't remember ever using one. If I used one, it was in college. I don't remember. So yeah, I guess the first thing would be to get it working as seen here. Hey Sion, how's it going? And then like the time is driven by the amount this capacitor gets charged, as far as I know. So if we increase the size of the capacitor or the resistor, I presume that will increase the amount of time it stays on, the LED. The other thing I was thinking, and I don't know if it works, I don't see why it wouldn't work, is that when it turns on, wouldn't it be preferable for us that it actually shut down power to the 555 as well? That when you press the button, the 555 turns on, and then when the LED turns off, it turns off the 555. Even though the 555 doesn't use any amount of, or it doesn't use an important amount of electricity, sure, you may as well turn it off. I heard people talking about it on Twitter and stuff, but I didn't. I went to bed pretty early. I'm still tired, but anyways. Okay, so let's build what we see here. Let's go to desk and me, but it'd be interesting if I could get maybe just that circuit to show up in the corner. So let's do is it window capture? I can't remember what they're called. Screen share is window capture? No. It is display capture. Yes. Okay, so let's make this way smaller. Creating scenes live on air is, high quality, the high quality stuff you guys come for. Okay, we can tidy that up a little bit too. Okay, so we want to recreate that. You see I have an Uno here. I'm going to use that as a power supply because I don't have one. I was going to use one of these things, but then I'd have to solder it, and I couldn't be bothered, so we are where we are. Okay, so I'm going to take 5 volts from the Uno here. It seems a little dark, does it? Let's shove you right into the corner. It's my desk. Like, it's not dark in the room, so must be the exposure that is the problem. Come on, oh, that's the wrong way. Other way. Yeah, that's a bit better. I think. No, there's nothing wrong with it. I actually do it all the time. For the kind of projects I do, I actually don't know if I've ever been like missing a power supply, or feel like I've missed the power supply. I still have plans to build a power supply using a PC power supply, but I haven't gotten around to it. It's on my to-do list like everything else. Where is that? Oh, I closed it. Oops. Where is desk cam? Logitech desk. Properties, configure video. Okay. So I use this thing to adjust. I keep saying it. If somebody can find a way of me to adjust this using a physical device, I will. I don't know what I'll do. I'll give you money or fame or I don't know, anything. It's really annoying to not be able to do that. I have a circuit that turns off the power itself when pulling a pin low using an opto and a MOSFET and a capacitor. Huh, that might be interesting too, actually, yeah. Okay, so I now have 5 volts on my breadboard here. So 555 chip. I have a point in the right way, little in from the side there. So I don't normally like these circular ones because I've had bad experiences with them, but we'll use them here anyways. I boiled the kettle, but I forgot to make tea for myself. I'm disgusted. But anyways, we are where we are. So I'm just going to, like, way down at the end of this breadboard, I'm going to join ground and power to each other. So that won't be in camera, but it's there. Dang. I might give money. Yeah, Sion is correctly pointing out that I'm quite a cheap person. I don't know. I don't like if I owe somebody something, I don't mind giving it to them. I'm not cheap in that way, but I am cheap in the in the just spending of money in general way. So yeah. Okay, so Sion's Twitch is being bad again. Those Oceanic servers, high quality. Oh, that's a bit long, that one. Here's a nice ground for us to use. Okay. So there is our... That's weird. Okay. That was a bit hard to push in, but anyways. Yes, frugal is definitely a word I'd use to describe it. I also have like a semi-addiction to bargains, I would say. Like, to be honest, I've stopped a lot, but like I used to go on to I don't do it at all anymore, actually, because I spend my money on this stuff now. But I used to go on to like deals websites and be buying stuff that I never needed, like if I was, I'd send you some money. In fact, I think I did send you. Ooh, was Sion purchasing badges, maybe? Yeah, like there's some stuff I don't mind spending money on, but like, yeah, I would be a big fan in getting stuff for as cheap as possible. So just, this one is also down here. So like say for example I needed an Arduino board, like I am literally never going to buy an official Arduino board. Like it's just not going to happen. Like this Uno, which I prefer to a real Arduino board. I actually have 2 real Arduino boards. I didn't buy either of them. That's a 101, which I've basically never used, and that's a real Arduino board, which I've basically also never used. Like they're €30 or €35, and it's just not gonna happen to me. Yeah, that's me, cheap. Okay, so that's gonna be for one of the legs of the capacitor. I guess I need some resistors and LEDs now, and a capacitor. What did we say, 100 farad capacitor? Resistors, my least favorite thing to get. The Bealo thing is kind of catching on, isn't it? Like, yeah. I don't mind it. Maybe I'll adapt it as like a. It'd be handy for for what? There's a 56k resistor. It'd be handy for like on bread or circuit boards and stuff because it's so short. See ya, Michael. I'll talk to you later. So I found a 56k resistor, and I'm just going to use that instead of the 47k because it doesn't really matter. So they have okay, so they have the resistor going to the same leg as one of the capacitors. I'm just going to use the resistor straight down to the 5-volt bar rather than adding another jumper wired. Yeah, that'd be great, Michael. Okay, so we need to put our capacitor in here. Let's make it jump a little bit further. Okay, so there's our capacitor. Okay, now I just need current limiting resistor and LED. Does anyone have a preferred color? I think Dave Darko is going to say pink, is he? We can do pink. If you'd like pink. Do you want pink? Purple. Do I have purple? I don't have purple. Sorry. I'll have to see how pink is, or purpley pink is. I bought a bunch of different colored 3mm LEDs at one stage, and pink is one of them. Purple is not. I think it is kind of purpley. I thought I did have purple. Because I made a friend a guitar pedal, and I thought it was the purple one I used. Like, that's why I bought the LEDs, and I thought it was the purple one I used. I don't see it in the pack here. Maybe it was pink. I know. A lot of people say that about me. Right, so brown, black, red is 1K, right? There's that 10K. I think orange, the one with orange on it, is 10K. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, though. Who knows? We'll find out when this LED doesn't turn on. Okay, so that is... Okay, that is that. So let's plug it in. Yeah, it's kind of funny, like you just get so used to using like NeoPixels or something that you kind of neglect that's pretty purple. It's not turning off though. How the circuit works. It doesn't at the moment. Do I have that build right? Okay, let's go back to EC and that whole page. P2 is the trigger pin. I have 1 connected to ground, 6 is connected to the same one as the cap. 4 needs to be connected to 5 volts. I don't have that. Ah, yes, that's the problem. Let's connect pin 4 to 5 volts. Now, what do we get? Okay. Oh, you're missing it. You're not missing anything because it's not doing anything. Do I have anything else missing? Ooh, nice. 100 pieces. 10 millimeters, pretty big. Anyone any suggestions why this isn't working? Connect pin for the reset pin. So actify, so in order for the reset not to be triggered. To build a delay before turn off circuit with 5/5 timer chip. The delay before turn off circuit is when we apply power, turns on the output right away. It stays on for a few seconds and then turns off. It is not turning off. Is the like the 56k resistor, there's no way that's causing it to be much worse than 46, right? Well, the current limiting one is a 1k, so that doesn't really matter, but the other one is meant to be a 56k. Maybe I haven't checked. Maybe it isn't. It's not even showing up on my multimeter what it is. That's how good it is. Yeah, maybe that resistor is bad. Got a 27K here. We could try that. Interesting. You don't? You do if you believe you do. So my capacitor is connected to ground. That is happening. The other leg is connected back to the 555, and also the resistor is connected to positive. That is also a thing. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we just delay before turn off. Learning. This is the page we just were on, so I'm guessing I'm the problem and not that page. This is literally pointing back to that page too. That's interesting. Okay, so the page is fine. It's gotta be. Google has never proved me wrong before. Yeah. Okay, so I'll use a smaller. Like, he uses a 47K. I haven't actually seen how long. 10 seconds. So is my capacitor just not charging? Maybe my cap is not. See how much brighter the LED is when I don't have that connected. What's going on there? Am I creative on the cap? Thought I was using the same cap as they were. I'm using a 100 microfarad capacitor, the same as him. So the two LEDs I've tried is this is a 27K for there, and I've also tried a 56K. Capacitor, 100 microfarad capacitor. I had it in the right way. When I put the capacitor in, the output to the LED dims a lot. But it doesn't turn it off. Okay, be moments like this now, an oscilloscope would be quite handy. Okay, so he's fine. I am using an Arduino to power it, yeah. You don't see a connection between the power bars, but there is one. Like, surely the 5-volt regulator, and to be honest, mightn't even be using the 5-volt regulator on the Uno would be enough to power it. Seeing as these are normally used in battery situations, I guess I could. Maybe the 555 is dodgy. I could get another one of them. Wrong box. My breadboard could be dodgy. It is new. Out with the old and in the new. Except the old was not old, it was from the same packet as this. Come on. Get in. No, what's on the diagram is 47K. So I should be even less than he is at the moment. This, it looked, yeah. So it's a bad, seems to be a badge, or a bad 555 chip. Maybe it just wasn't plugged in right. Like, I noticed as soon as I plugged it in, that as soon as I plugged it in, the LED was brighter. Okay. So I guess, like, the next question is can I bump this up so much that it's like a few minutes, right? So the calculation for the equation that decides how long the time is, these are the two main factors of it. I actually don't know what the equation is though. Where is the actual equation for it? Like, this is quite a nice page, but surely they would have the t is equal to this. And it doesn't seem like they do. The RC network is what determines the delay time. The bigger the resistor and capacitive value, the longer the delay. But it doesn't say what calculates that. I have a bigger capacitor. We could do that. I should have a bigger capacitor. Where's my capacitor box? There's a big empty space where one of my capacitor boxes should be. The one that I got this 220 microfarad capacitor from earlier. And I don't see it on my desk. So 2 resistors, the IC one, the LED one, loose resistors, power connectors. Ah, I'll put the cap back in the right spot. So I have a 220 microfarad capacitor, so this is as big as I have. So that's as much as we can increase the capacitor to increase the delay. Well, it definitely increased the delay. You didn't see that because I'm terrible at streaming, but oops. Yeah, you see, it mightn't have, the capacitor mightn't have been discharged there for enough time. Okay. So I guess actually the next thing that I'd want to do is add a button to this to like make it so that rather than me plugging it out, it's triggered by a button press. I should have thought this one through more. So how is this working again? We'll figure out where is the best place to put this button. So I think pin 2 is the trigger. It works like a starter pistol. The trigger is active low, which means the timer starts when voltage on pin 2 drops to a third of the supply voltage. When 555 is triggered via pin 2, the output on pin 3 goes high. Okay, so if I just put in a button to that sends it low, wouldn't that do it? He did. Big congratulations to him. Yeah, it was good too. They linked to his Tindy page and stuff as well, which is great. Hopefully he can sell a few boards. Shut up. Okay, so let's connect one side of this button to ground. And I'm going to connect the other side of the button straight to the trigger pin. I'm not even going to use a resistor because the trigger... Am I doing this right? Yeah, probably. Sure, we'll see how it works out. Just plug that out there. It's not as bright as it was. Still worked, but okay. Oh, I am officially the world's worst streamer. Let me just... I'll enable that, so if I do it again, at least there'll be a little window. But that does work now that I press the button. The light turns on and then turns off. So that's not too bad. Originally I was thinking it'd be probably nicer to like use a transistor and power off the entire 555, but I don't know if that's just adding more complexity for the sake of it. That like when you press the button it would trigger like a transistor or something to send power to the 555, and then the 555 driving this LED on would continue to power the 555, and then when that LED turns off, like because the button's not powering the 555 anymore, and the output of the 555 isn't powering the 555 anymore, it would just turn off. So yeah, I don't know what to do about that. Do I want to do that? It would save me like milliamps, which is probably not worth it really. Thanks, Leo. It is a nice button. I have some 500k pots, which might be interesting enough because, you know, they would be adjustable, but they're quite large. Just the ones I have, they're like guitar pots or whatever. I have loads of them though, so maybe I will use them. I don't know why I have so many of them. Kinda makes sense to use them, right? Yeah, like you could maybe even still... So the button, in my head, the button would trigger the transistor, which would power the 555, and then the output from the 555 would continue to power that transistor while it was high, while the output was high, so when that LED is on. So the original me holding down this button for however short of amount of time would kick off the circuit working, and then that light being on would continue for the circuit to work. But then when that light goes off, the transistor shuts off, which will shut down power to the entire circuit. That kind of makes sense, right? And then it's not using it's literally not using any battery until you press that button again. That's kind of a nice solution for it, isn't it? I don't know. Do we want to install the large pot to make the time bigger, or do we want to do that shutting down thing? Yeah, exactly. No, sorry, not as VCC, I would say. I was thinking more that this is a bit overexposed, but it'll be fine when I start drawing on it. So like we have our little transistor here. I don't really know how to draw transistors, but that's fine. So say this is heading off to ground, and then what do we want to do? We put our 555's ground connection to there. So where is that on the board? It's this bottom left pin, I think. We connect that to here. What goes on the other side of this then? I'm actually super confused. Yeah, this goes on the other side of that. Alright, so there's our little 555. So yeah, ground is connected to ground using... Hey Drew, thanks for the breakfast. I haven't actually had breakfast. This is really overexposed. I thought it'd kind of fix itself when I had something to... oh, it's not focused either. Maybe that's the problem. Okay, so 5 volts goes into the 555, blah 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 blah. So these are active high or whatever. I don't know. Doesn't matter if they're active high or active low, really. Whatever is required to trigger them. So we have our button here, and I'm gonna say whatevs over here. So when you press the button, zero power circuit. I'm just gonna finish off describing what I was thinking, and then we'll take a look at that when they have it automatically solved. So you press that button, it engages this transistor. So now the 555 has a complete circuit and turns on. Right, when we press the button at the moment, the LED instantly turns on, right? So if I supply power to this, after the LEDs, or after the thing is discharged, like as soon as I supply power to it, the LED turns on, right? So the output from the 555 would be high at the moment, and what I would plan to do then is bring it back here actually. Now if I have to invert that somehow, that's fine, doesn't really matter. So the output from the 555 would feed back into the transistor, and then when the 555 does its thing and turns off its output, it would again cut the power to the 555. So it's almost like a kamikaze mission for it. It'll kill itself. So yeah, that's my plan. Build a delay timer that doesn't suck energy. That sounds like the right thing to do. Okay, so we've got a 555. We've got an inductor. When you press a button, it switches on a 555. It activates a relay for a fixed interval. At the time of the end of the interval, the relay switches off the timer and the timer switches off the relay. Does that sound implausible? No. Why is this circuit so complicated looking? Oh, there's a kitchen beeper to turn it off. Oh, it's a relay he has in there. I was like, what is this? So he's using a relay and a lot of power caps and stuff. Then he's talking about adjusting the delay. A 1M pot. Yeah, I don't have a 1M pot, do I? I do not. I have two 500k pots. That's almost like a 1M pot. In fact, it is. Interesting. Okay, so I find this circuit kind of hard to follow, so let's see. He has his 555 timer. It triggers the relay. Switch to an external device. Yeah. Huh. I don't know. I feel like this is more complicated than it needs to be, but maybe he's done his homework and I have not. Single delay pulse goes out in 3 to the relay. Will we just try my way and see how it works out? I don't see why it wouldn't work. Right, that we just put a transistor in there and we kill power to the ground line. Any suggestions? Seems okay to me, right? Let's give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? I blow up a 555 circuit. That'll make for an interesting stream at the very least. Back to desk. I don't know if we need this thing on top anymore. We definitely need to focus a bit better. That'll do. Okay, so where are my transistors? Did I take them down? I did. So I got my 2 and 3904 resistor, or transistor. I'll plug that in up there somewhere. Now, we probably want a resistor. And I'll use a 1K. And grab another button. 2N3904. Just wanna double check, so it's CBE common base emitter, and it is that one. So common is over here on the right, emitter is on the left, and away we go. Okay, so let me put in another LED as well. So I just want to test out that the button triggers the transistor. Okay. Do I still have my LEDs down here? I do. What color will we go for? Oh, orange. I could have used UV for purple earlier. It's kind of purpley. I wouldn't be able to see it, but you guys would be able to see it at least. Okay. Let's just plug out that for the minute. So I'm putting in my LED here. Again, Streamer of the Year award. It's coming to me. Okay, so that's fine. I need so one end of the button is going in there. I'm pretty sure it's active high, right? That I'm gonna supply high in on the base, and that will close the circuit. Well, let's see. So the emitter is going to be positive. Right, let's see how that goes. So I can plug this back in. LED's not doing anything. Press the button, the LED turns on. Okay, cool. Right, so now if I take ground from the 555, play out the stuff up here. Yeah, bring Julian in. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I'm like, I don't know if it shows up on my videos, but like, I'm definitely not super comfortable with the electronics part of stuff. Like, I don't mind doing it and trying stuff out, but like, if you're here to learn about 555 timers, I don't know if I'm your guy. Okay. I am surprised that this is turning on at all. So when I press the button, it's turning the 555 off at the moment. That doesn't seem right. But it's also like not behaving properly, because I don't know if that LED is turning off. So the part I've just done here is whatevs is 5 volts as well now. So 555 is still connected directly to 5 volts, but I've connected ground to the transistor. Maybe I need to connect the same ground of the maybe I need to break the ground connection of the actual, the entire circuit to ground. So if I put ground here, put the other end of it here. Okay, so I think what the problem might have been there is that the capacitor still had power, like it didn't have a broken connection, so it was doing whatever it wanted to do, and yeah. Okay, so that's working a bit better. So now I feel like I should just be able to put the output of the timer into the transistor and it will work. It's lighting up the LED straight away. Why is that? Oh, I need to do it the far side of that resistor anyways, if I haven't shorted something there. I might have broken something there. No. Okay. Right, so we've moved on to this part of the plan now. So when we press down this button, the 555 is turning on itself. But when that light is on, we want the transistor to continue to power even when... Yeah, okay, let me hey Unlux McGee. So we had a 555 timer circuit over here on the left, right, that when we can just skip the so when this gets a complete circuit, I wouldn't worry, there's not much going on over here. So when this circuit gets a complete circuit, so 5 volts one end, ground the other end, the LED turns on for maybe like 5 seconds, or however long it turns on. So that's working fine. That's a standard 555 delayed time off circuit. So what I'm trying to achieve now is that a transistor controls the ground connection for the 555. So let Okay, plug that back in over here. It's not... I did that the wrong way around. Right, so ground is coming in here. It's going to the top of the transistor, and then the ground part of the 555 circuit, so it's a little bit different than what it looks here. Let me draw that out. So we've got ground here going to the top of the transistor, and then ground for the 555 circuit is connected to that, and everything related to the 555 circuit. So that goes up to 5 volts. And then what we have over here is, oops, what we have over here then is the button. Actually, we do need that resistor. And that goes to 5 volts as well. So when we press that power button, it enables this transistor, which connects ground to ground of the 555. So it turns on the 555 circuit. So if I hold down this button, you can see the LED turns on for its specified amount of time, and then it will turn off. So what I want to do now is, so the LED is coming from this pin over here down to ground. Yeah, I'm terrible at drawing, but anyways, yeah, so the LED is powering, or is coming from that 555 circuit. So what I want to do now is, so when the 555 thing turns on, I want the output from the 555 to continue closing the transistor. So when I let go of the button, if that LED is still on, the transistor is still like bridging the gap between ground and the 555 circuit. So I want it to continue to power itself until the LED would turn off anyways, and then the 555 will be using no power whatsoever. So the general, so that's all fine, like, is in that's the theory of what I'm trying to do. The project I'm trying to make is, I want to make basically, my daughter has LED lights in her tent and she keeps leaving them on, so I would like a button that you press, it turns them on for like say 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then they turn off again, and if she wants to turn them back on, she can press the button, but so it doesn't just use all the battery. So that is the general purpose. So I have a high output now, and I wanted to close that. So what do I need to do with our diodes or something? Yeah, a diode might solve the problem, right? Because I don't want the 5 volts to go back to the 555 timer, but I do want this 555 timer to supply 5 volts in here. So I think a diode might do it, right? So I have a 1N914 diode here, whatever that is. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll use it. Okay, so the output of that, going to, okay, so I got my diode here. I'm putting it so that the black side, or the black line, is facing towards the transistor. Does that make sense? I can try explain something if there was anything else, but that is the general idea behind what I'm trying to do. Okay, so that, The diode is there now. I might just plug, I was gonna say I might plug out the LED, just, but, because I don't know if it has enough juice to close the transistor without it, but we kind of need it. What I might do instead is just plug the LED into the circuit at all. Right, so no problem. So this is a bit of a this is a bit of a problem. The circuit isn't on at the moment. Like, as in, I haven't pressed the button down, but the LED is still on, which means I've got 5 volts. Which isn't good. Where am I getting 5 volts from? So what I just did there was I moved the LED that was been driven by the output of the 555 timer to just go straight to the negative and positive like rail, because this bottom rail shouldn't be connected to ground unless the button is pressed. So you can see when I press the button, and maybe you can't see that, the LED gets brighter. Will it get dimmer now, or does it stay bright? But it's staying on, which means, I don't know, there's something in the circuit that's causing ground to be ground, even though it's kind of being cut off by the transistor. Oh. And it's that. Why is it that? So when I have the output of the 555 connected to the transistor, even with the diode, so I have a diode here now. It's causing the LED, which is just on the power rails, to turn on. So the LED is like literally just here somewhere with a current limiting resistor. You get my but that's on even when the transistor isn't, when I have this connected up. I guess that is, I don't know what's happening there now, to be honest. I'm not sure. The way I'm switching ground is definitely dodgy, because the LED turns on. Yeah, that's fine actually. The LED should turn on and stay on because it's not the output of the It's not the output of the thing anymore. I just don't know. So Michael at the start of the 555 timer ground is, it's either floating or it's getting some reference from it being connected to the transistor. Hassiter at the start of the chat was talking about an opto isolator. I have a circuit that turns the power itself when pulling a pin low, uses an opto, a MOSFET, and a capacitor. So he's using an opto isolator maybe to kind of make sure that the power is separated between the two. I'm not sure. I'm actually going to need to finish up now anyway, so we'll have to see what the story is with that some other time. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting circuit, because when you get it working correctly, at least, like, it'll be pretty nice to just have like this one little button, like it does whatever it needs to do for a certain amount of time, and then it moves on. Like, yeah, kind of interesting. Anyways, thanks a lot for joining, everybody. Sorry we couldn't get it fully working, but I learned some things about 555 timers today that I didn't know before, and I used one, which was nice. Yeah, thanks a lot. I will catch you next time. Have a good weekend, and I will see you again. Bye bye.